People in the US are amazed at how powerful innovation and forward thought are in our country as they watch these events unfold. SpaceX's goal with each launch and new technology isn't just to explore space, it's also to inspire and lead the way in technology, which is very similar to Tesla's goal in the car world. If you've heard Elon Musk talk about the possibility of relaunching a booster within 5 to 10 minutes of landing, you know what the rules are. Yes, we are talking about the chance of launches every hour. It's not just about putting more rockets into space. It's also about being efficient and able to handle more people, which means cutting the time it takes to do something from days to hours. Musk says that there needs to be more ships than engines to keep up with the fastest launch rate so that everything works well. But things aren't always going well. Some real problems come up, especially when it comes to making sure the Starship is safe and durable. Making sure the seals are strong and the ceramic tiles on the shuttle stay in place has been a big worry. To be more specific, the seal at the flap hinge area needs to be strong enough to keep hot gases from damaging the item during space travel. The tiles that cover the shuttle's steel surface also have to be able to handle big changes in temperature during takeoff and landing. This keeps the shuttle safe and functional. The fact that there could be risks with the ceramic tiles and the pressurized parts of the ship adds another level of difficulty. It might be possible to handle losing tiles in areas that aren't under pressure, but it's a whole different story in areas that are. To stop this, SpaceX is thinking about adding a second shield under the tiles to make the ship stronger and stop catastrophic fails. As a nod to their steady drive for new ideas, there is also talk about regenerative cooling inside the Starship, which is an important way to deal with high temperatures. There is talk about active regrowth and how it is similar to transpiration cooling. There is also discussion about new ways to cool the tank inside. This level of careful engineering and problem-solving shows that SpaceX wants to do more than just get past problems. They want to turn them into steps toward better technology in the future. In terms of Tesla, there is a clear parallel in how both companies are changing the rules of what is possible in their own areas under Musk's leadership. In the same way that SpaceX is breaking new ground with its fast launches and cutting-edge cooling systems, Tesla is doing the same in the auto business with its electric cars and cutting-edge battery technology. The goal of both businesses is not only to make high-tech products, but also to make these products more accessible and useful by making them work better. This dedication to new ideas and high quality shows a shared philosophy that keeps Tesla and SpaceX growing and getting people excited. Each success in space shows what Musk's idea can do and how it can affect the world. This leads to more growth and interest in Tesla's cutting-edge technologies. In addition to their other creative projects, SpaceX is working hard to make an orbital heat shield that can be used more than once. The hardest part is coming up with a heat shield that can stand up to very high temperatures during re-entry and still be useful. No one has ever made an orbital heat shield that can be used again and again quickly. This needs to be done for the first time. It's the biggest problem that still needs to be solved because it's so difficult. The purpose of this flight and all the flights that will happen this year is to get through the high heat phase so that the heat shield stays intact. After that, the ship must still be able to steer to a certain spot for an ocean landing burn. If everything goes well with this launch, we'll be able to do a boost back, an aero-controlled drop to a certain spot, start a landing burn, and be caught by a made-up tower. The goal is not only for the heat shield to stay alive, but also for the booster to be able to exactly land at a place that has already been planned. This is called a landing boom. This level of accuracy in landing and returning is necessary to make it economically possible to use rockets more than once. In terms of operational success, SpaceX's ship is built to be able to control its own descent to a specific landing site, even though it faces huge problems with heat during re-entry. Elon Musk has admitted that there are risks, but he thinks there is a 50% chance that the heat shield will work properly on the first flights. But the goal is to learn from each trip and make the design better so that future flights have a better chance of success. Lastly, the talk about autogenous pressurization in SpaceX's rockets shows another level of how complicated their engineering is. In this method, a cryogenic liquid is heated to make hot gas, which then fills the fuel tanks with pressure. This process is very important because it changes how much power the fuel pumps have, which is needed for the rocket to work. It's an advanced approach that shows how much engineering is needed to keep space rockets in good shape and make them work well. Every new piece of technology or improvement to SpaceX's operations not only moves them forward in the aerospace industry, but it also helps Tesla's reputation as a leader in the car industry when it comes to innovation and sustainability. When Musk's businesses share technologies, it often leads to new ideas that help both of them do better, which boosts their growth and solidifies their position as the market leader. Musk's two businesses use cutting-edge technology to push the limits of what's possible in their own fields. As SpaceX comes up with new ideas for space travel, the process used to be very stressful, but now it's done in a building, which lets us make rockets one at a time. We'll make over 200 top stages of Falcon next year, up from almost 200 this year. Starship 2 will be able to send 100 tons into space, and Starship 3 might be able to do a little more. The Starship 3 will be 9 meters across, and when it's fully stretched out, it could go from being 120 meters long to being 140 meters long, or something like that. The SpaceX Falcon team is doing a great job of being able to reuse parts quickly. It used to be measured in months, then weeks, then days. With Starship, it will now be measured in hours instead of days. This year isn't about getting SAR satellites to users. It's all about taking care of design issues and heat shield problems. We don't even know about some of the problems yet, but we do know about others from problems with other projects like the Space Shuttle. For example, closing that hinge gap will stop hot gas from quickly running where the flap hinges, which would cook anything. Elon Musk's innovative space company, SpaceX, has recently made some big changes that have similar effects on Tesla. With its new Starship factory, SpaceX is changing the way space technology is done. We'll also look at the next generation Raptor engines and the creative steps they're taking to make space travel more efficient and reusable. We'll also talk about how these new developments might affect Tesla and technology in general. We're going over every angle to give you a full picture of where SpaceX is going and what this means for the future of both SpaceX and Tesla. This includes problems with refueling in orbit and switching to all-electric control systems. Stay tuned as we break down these interesting new events and talk about what they might mean for tech fans, investors, and the future of tech. But before you do anything else, make sure you click like and subscribe. Let's begin with this. SpaceX is stepping up its game by building a serialized production rocket plant. This is a big move that is shaking up the tech and space industries. This isn't just any plant. It will make it possible to make rockets on a scale we've never seen before. Think about a factory that is so high-tech that it wants to make 1,000 ships every year. They're ready to build 100 ships a year right now, which means a new ship could come out every 3 days. Think about how much accuracy and organization that needs. Let's talk about the Starship, which is the most important part of SpaceX's big plan. This rocket is a monster in the world of space travel. It can send more than 200 tons into orbit, and it can be used again and again. Yes, it is made to go to space and then come back to be used again. This isn't just about cutting costs. It's also about making space travel more environmentally friendly and useful. The improvements they're making, like better engines, better heat shields, and less need for fuel, are pushing the limits of what we thought was possible. In addition to these improvements, Starship is also paving the way for future trips to Mars and is a key part of SpaceX's plans to travel between planets. Its ability to launch and land more than once is essential for the frequent low-cost travel that would be needed to live on another world. Also, the technology created for Starship could change the way people travel on Earth, pointing the way to faster, more efficient ways to get from one place to another. Starship isn't just a spaceship in the end, it's also a plan for how people will travel through space in the future.